Hi, everybody. My name is Tuva, and I'm from Group 12. My team partners are Karen Barajas, Sophia Benz, and for this video project, we have prepared a simple explanation about antimicrobial peptides to explain to our mom what they are. And so these molecules are basically tiny proteins that are secreted in our body cells, like the epithelial cells, the cells that line our body surface, like the skin, the mouth, and the gut. The pannate cells are found in our intestinal crypts, which is like the little dip in the intestinal villi, and phagocytes, the big eaters of our immune system. And many of these are produced as inactive proenzyme. Under the right condition, then they will be activated, and their job is to kill harmful microbes, mainly by disrupting their cell membranes. They are part of our barrier defense, and a few examples are the defensins, alpha and beta, cathelicidins, histidins, REC3, and lysozyme. So you can see our barrier defense are found in the skin, the gut, the lung, the eyes, nose, oral cavities, and the chemical that's is circled in the red are the antimicrobial peptides, and we will talk about some of them today.
So beginning with Paneth cells are basically the cells that secrete the antimicrobial peptides that we're going to talk about in our presentation. And they're mainly located in the small intestinal crypts, which were what Tu mentioned, that were the little dips in our small intestine. And for the most part, again, they secrete two antimicrobial peptides, which are reg3 alpha and the alpha and B1 beta 1 defensins. And for the most part, without this cell, we wouldn't be able to have any of these antimicrobial peptides that are basically responsible for the overall gut health and gastrointestinal functions, which is the reason why they are so important. And here in the slide, you can see in the diagram, this is where they're located and the process of them excreting the antimicrobial peptides.
So laminar bodies are basically organelles in the skin's keratinocytes, which is basically a protein that makes up our hair, and in the lungs' pneumocytes, they're cells lining the air sacs in our lungs. They release beta definitions, which will be talked later in our video. They also secrete lipid compounds that create a watertight lipid within the epidermis of the skin in order to prevent microbes from entering the body. Their other job is secreting antimicrobial peptides like the beta definitions and cathelicidins in order to maintain skin homeostasis. So in the diagram, it can be shown that the laminar bodies is secreting that lipid compound in order to create that watertight lipid layer. Lysozymes are an enzyme that degrades bacterial peptidoglycan cell walls. The peptidoglycan layer acts as the cell wall's backbone by offering the strength to the cell wall. Lysosomes can also break down ingested microbes. They are found in our sweat, tears, saliva, and mucus. It's mostly effective against gram-positive bacteria rather than gram-negative, mostly because the gram-negative bacteria is protected by several outer layers. So in this diagram, you can see that the lysozyme, it kind of looks like a Pac-Man. It is just going in and degrading that peptidoglycan.
So now going into the antimicrobial peptides again, basically the alpha defensin and the beta 1 defensins are mainly found in the epithelial tissue of our body, which are basically in like our skin and gut. And for the most part, their function is to kill the microbes by integrating themselves into the cell membrane of the microbes, which is basically like a stabbing motion inside of the cell membranes, which causes breakage, which just means the cell breaks open, and breakage basically means death for the cell. And for the most part, that's the most that they do, but they also have like an added function, which is not in the other kind of peptide, which is the recruitment and activation of immune cells. And you can see in the diagram, basically the defensin going into the cell and causing it to like have breakage and basically causing the bacterial cell to die. And then the other antimicrobial peptide is the reg-3 alpha, which basically does the same exact thing and also like forms a pore in the cell membrane. It's also found in the gastrointestinal tract, but for this one, it exists first in an inactivated form, which means in order for it to be activated, it needs to break open and cleave in order to secrete the compound, which forms a hexamer-shaped pore in a cell and then causes like for it to open, and then causes the breakage that causes the cell to die. And for the most part, it affects the gram-positive bacteria and not the negative. And at least for our human cells, its function isn't very, it's not immune to its function. Our cells aren't immune to the function, which is why homeostasis is extremely important, or else we would die if there was an unregulated amount of this activity by the reg-3 alpha cell, and antimicrobial peptides. And basically that was our video, so hopefully it was helpful. And thank you for watching.